What's up everyone, and welcome back to another Pathway XL2 daily market analysis update. So for this video there will be a 20 divine giveaway for anyone that writes a comment in the comment section. You are welcome to write anything that you want, even criticism is fine. And for the next video we'll have the results for that giveaway. So go ahead and write a comment and check out the next video to see if you won. So to get started with the market analysis for today, we have a couple of things that we want to look at. First off, we want to look at the chaos orb price, then at the omen prices, and then at the fracture orb prices. So those three things are the priority for today. We're going to keep this video rather simple, so if you need any more information on how the specific trading works, like how market ratios work and how the data is done, go ahead and check out the last video, because I really explained it in detail, and otherwise there might be some things that you don't understand. If there's any specific problems that you got, you are also welcome to join the Discord server in the video description, because we got an Ask Me system basically, where you can open a ticket to ask a question. You can also partake in some profit systems that we got going on, like a fund system where you can invest your divines into, we'll reinvest them for you, and then you can withdraw at a profit. So if you are interested in that sort of stuff, or you have some specific issues, problems, questions, whatever, go ahead and check out the Discord server. So now we can finally look at some data. I will pull up the usual Excel sheet real quick, and we can see right here on the short-term development graph that there is some large fluctuation of one currency that is totally different to all of the other currency, and that is the fracture orb. So usually when we see something like this, this means that that currency is going to either skyrocket or it's going to go absolutely to the bottom of the barrel, right? So the fracture orb is a currency that is needed very much for crafting. And because there's less and less players, there's obviously going to be less and less need for that fracture orb. But the fracture orb has some long-term value, considering that there are still some player fluctuations. So if, for example, we have the low right now for this fracture orb, and there's suddenly, let's say, 2 times the players tomorrow, which is not unlikely, since the player count always fluctuates from around 8,000 to 16,000 players on Steam right now. So that means that it's possible that you get a huge increase in demand for the fracture orb suddenly, and this fracture orb goes up indefinitely, and it's really unlikely, because there's no patch notes about it, that it will go significantly lower because drop rates have been modified or something. So the fracture orb is a very, very solid investment right now, and I just noticed that that was actually the third thing that I wanted to discuss, but it was so in the corner of my eye that I couldn't refrain myself from discussing this first. So that's what you want to know about the fracture orb for today. And let's actually go by the order that I declared in the beginning, and let's start by the chaos orb. So the chaos orb is a very interesting currency, because I told you guys to invest into it if you don't have any plans on doing short-term profit trading, and you're just trying to keep the relative value of the currency that you already got. And the chaos orb is an interesting currency, considering that, because it has the best value retention out of all of the currency and the least fluctuation. That is partially because there's a lot of trading volume for that chaos orb, but it's also because the chaos orb is simply a relatively widely used currency, right? So the chaos orb should be what you invested into if you weren't profit trading. And if that was the case, if you listened to me, and you, of course, if you did any of the profit trading, then your wins will have been obviously bigger. But if you listened to me in the past, then congratulations, your Chaos Orb has now increased a lot in its relative value to everything else, especially considering the value of yesterday and the average value of today, and I believe that is going to go up. So the value of that Chaos Orb for long-term investments still absolutely stands, and consider it if you are not doing any of the other stuff that I'll be talking about. And let's finally get to the Omens. So the Omens are so interesting right now because they have had a lot of fluctuation recently, but right now the Omens that I predicted yesterday will go up. The Omen of Sinistral Null and the Omen of Dextral Null have both had a price increase of about 0.25 to 0.3. And the interesting part about that is that when we look at these omens, and you can see we're already trading a lot of them, they are going to kind of sell really fast at the 4-to-1 mark. That is of course because not everyone can afford weird market ratios, but it's also because the demand has simply increased a bit and the supply has decreased. So we might expect that this omen can go to 4.5 or even 4.75 if it reaches anything above the 4-to-1 mark. And there's obviously a very strong sell right here, right? There's 2,626 omens selling. We're also selling all of our omens for now at the 4-to-1, but if it breaches the 4-to-1 mark and the buying offers are actually for 4-to-1, then we'll be buying a lot of those at 4-to-1 too, because that's a signal for this omen to increase a lot in price. So that's something to watch out for, you guys. And the same also kind of goes for the Omen of Sinistral Erasure. The Omen of Sinistral Erasure. I think I said Dextral Erasure a minute ago. I meant the Omen of Sinistral Erasure. And that is that it's also slowly reaching the 1-to-4 mark. And that means as well that we can expect as soon as it reaches this big wall, we can invest into it as well. And we might make a lot of profit on it. So that's something to watch out for. And I'm especially saying this because you can see that this amount right here, 2,175, or the amount that you can see right here, it has slowly gone down over the last 2 days. So there's less and less people selling at the 4-to-1 mark. And if there's no more people selling for 4-to-1, and there's only people selling for 4.2, 4.3, then that's a big opportunity. So watch out for that. So that wall is slowly getting smaller and smaller. So that's for these two omens. But of course we have other omens as well, and that is, for example, the Omen of Dextral Erasure. Though here there is not really, let's say, that much of a necessity for the omen. Because it is modifying suffix modifiers, and if you really think about the most valuable items that are in the game, the suffix modifiers are not really what determines that an item is extremely valuable, right? If you have a huge resistance, like 45 resistance, 45 resistance, and let's say 40 resistance, that item is not going to be guaranteed to sell. It only has a higher likelihood. So this is not as valuable as the other omens, and that's why it's not that much of a signal if it goes above the 4-to-1 mark. It's more of just a momentary, let's say a momentary sleight of hand from some guy that might want these omens to go up. But it's not any market indication for us to invest in. As well as, of course, for the Omen of Dextral Null, this omen can have the tendency to be very overpriced, and if it reaches the 6-to-1, don't invest into it because it will drop as well. So only those two omens, and let me see if there's something else we need to discuss. Yeah, for all of you guys that are maybe interested in the investing, we can see in this Excel document. By the way, it's also going to be accessible, of course, in the video description, though I recommend that you download it. Otherwise, you can't see these graphs properly. But for any of you guys that are interested in the investor wallets, you can see that we had a 3% increase today, 3.1% increase yesterday. There was obviously some halts right here because trading doesn't work perfectly all the time. Sometimes things are overpriced and you cannot buy. Before that, we had 3.6 and 6% increases. So that's something that might be lucrative for you if you are just interested in a small profit over time, and you don't really have the time to do all of that trading yourself, and you still want to be better off than just putting everything into the Chaos Orb. So yeah, there's also a few other things that might interest you. For example, our membership program, where you can also access that through the Discord server, or you read through the information on YouTube, where you get a lot of benefits. Like, for example, there won't be any withdrawal fee, which is usually 10% for withdrawals right here. There won't be any for you if you have a certain tier. So go ahead, check that out if you're interested. And I think I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Remember the giveaway, right? Comment and wait for the next video. And I'll be seeing you guys. I'm out.